All right, everybody, here we are. We're playing Deep Blue. This was sent to us by Asmodee. It is by Days of Wonder, and I've got the board all set up here, ready for a two-player match. We have two-player boards here. You each start with 4 cards. We have Le Sarine, and that will be against the Albatross. So blue versus yellow. Each player will have 4 cards that they start out with, and they do have the name at the top. These cards are going to be used to either collect treasures when you go on a dive. They're going to be used to recruit more crew members and move around the board. So there's 4 different things you can do. I just named 3 of them. You can spend an action to recruit a member. You can spend an action to sail. You can spend an action to dive. And you can spend an action to rest. Those are your 4 options. So why don't we get it started? I'll explain what we're doing as we play. Now, I've already got the tiles. These are all considered the dive sites, these tiles here, okay? Now, if you notice this one here, it doesn't have anything on it other than just a picture. Technically, after you place them all on the board, because they all go on upside down, and you flip them up, wherever this one appears, you just remove it from the board. We'll leave it on just for the hey-hey. It ain't bothering nothing. But at the same time, yeah, it does not technically belong there. In fact, you know what? Get it out of there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so let's get it started. So let's see. Player 1 is blue, which means player 2 got one of these tokens here that can be used as either a sell icon or a dollar. Up here is the cost of each of the card where they're located. So $1, $2, $2, $3. And then if you want to, you could pay $4, remove all of them, flip 4 new cards, and then you get to select one of them. Regardless, player 1, is going to play 1 card. Now, if you wanted to, you could play multiple cards to be able to sail further. And you can divide, because if you notice you have 2 boats, you can divide your sail or your movement points between those 2 boats. So if this one here gives me 2 sail, because you notice it's got a ×2 right there. So if I wanted to, I could play this one as well to make a 3rd sail. But I'm just going to do 2 sail, and I'm going to move this one right to here. And what you're going to do is when you move onto a dive site, you're going to take occupancy in these corners here, and these corners are going to allow you to score extra points during the dive, or they're going to protect you from hazards. This will all make sense as we are playing. So I'm going to place it right there on there, and then I'm going to place this one right there. So now it would go over to player 2. And player 2 is going to do something as well. So basically this is telling you what it does to you during a dive. This is telling you what it can do for you right now, which means that you can basically discard this and it's worth $1. That can help you to recruit other people into your hand. So let's do that. Let's discard this one. Well, actually, you know what? Yeah, let's discard this one right here. So this is worth $2. We're going to discard it. And we are going to recruit this guy right here, and then he's going to go directly into our hand. Now these cards technically would flip over after you place them there, and your turn is done. So now we're going to go back over to player 1. So player 1 says, you know what? Let's get this party started. Let's do a dive right here. So yellow, because even though yellow is not there, yellow does now have the opportunity to join the dive. So if yellow wanted to, they could move their boats up to here. There's no sense in moving both of them, but they can move one of their boats up to there to say that I want to participate because I'm only 1 space away, but you cannot take over any of the corner locations. And mind you, I do apologize. This should have shifted down and a new card should have came out. But so they don't get to take advantage of any of the corner abilities, but they do get the capacity to join the dive. So now what happens is that we have this bag here. Now before I draw out of here, there are scenario cards, okay? The one that we have chosen is this one right here. It's called Troubled Waters. The dive leader must pull 2 gems at a time from the bag. Normally you only pull 1, but because there are troubled waters, we are going to pull 2. So we take this little marker, we place it there, we are doing a dive, so now we're going to pull 2 gems out, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so a black and a blue, these are both negative elements, you do not want these to happen, but the very first one you pull is just a warning. They're going to go on the little board here to show you that one of each has been pulled. If multiple get pulled out of there, there's a chance it will make your dive obsolete. That was a terrible draw right off the bat. I was kind of hoping to get some silvers right off the bat to try to show you how that works. But regardless, we do have the blue player with the ability to defend against 1 black. So we will go ahead and just leave his right there to be able to, we'll just go ahead and go is what I'm trying to say. So just draw 2 more. Well, we got a gold and another black. So here's what happens. So you first have to defend against these are considered like monster hazards. These are considered oxygen hazards. So, or equipment, whatever you want to call it, okay? So the first thing that happens is you have to defend against the hazard because we draw 2. Normally you only draw 1, but we draw 2. So the blue player can just move this boat that's on that icon there with the black and move it into the center to show that they have defended against it. Now there is 1 gold piece out, but first we have to see if the yellow player now can defend against it, and if they cannot, which we know they cannot, that means that they have to resurface and they will now not get anything from this. Now if they had played any cards, it was a gamble. This is very early in the game. Typically, whenever you rush into a site, there's a good chance you're not going to get anything. So yellow basically will not get anything for this, but we'll show you exactly what blue will end up doing. So now what blue has the capacity to do is to play cards that meet the requirements. And what I mean by that is there's 1 gold piece in there that's right now been found. So this card says as long as 1 gold piece has been pulled, you can play this card, and now it's going to be worth 2 money. So he's going to play that one down. Now if possibly either one of these had the same, you could play as many down as you want as long as the requirement's been hit. This one here says 2 silver, and then you would get 2, but we're going to actually call it now. We're not going to pull any more because there's a chance that if we do pull any more, that there's a possibility that something negative is going to end up happening, and that would mean that nobody gets any points from the gems. What do I mean by that? I'll explain. So now that the dive leader says, we're done, no more, okay? The first thing we do is you get points for each one of your cards that you had played. So this one here, you would get 2 money. So let's go over here, let's get 2 money, put it in our little treasure box, okay? Also, he was the dive leader, which means that you get the money based upon the tile that you dove from. And in this case, this tile was worth 1, so you get an extra coin. So we'll put that on there. All right, now you also are going to get points based upon the gems. So in this case, only 1 gold was pulled out, and if you notice down here, the key says all gold are worth 2 money. Now that can change based upon where you're located on the tile. And in this case, if we would have had silvers pulled out, for blue, they would have been worth 3 instead of just 1. But no silver were pulled out, that's the way it goes. So he would get another 2 points. This tile now is removed from the game. These gems go back into the bag. And we will just put a 5er in here, just like that, okay? And then all these boats just stay here, and this comes out, back out. Okay, so there you go. 1 tile has been dove into and checked out. Yellow player, it is your turn now. So yellow player looks at their cards and says that they want to move. So they're going to play their 2 movement card, and they're going to combine it with this one. So this one is either, you could use it to try to dive for treasures, or you can use it for movement. In this case, they're going to play both of these. That's a ×2 and a ×2, so that's 4 total movement for yellow. So yellow is going to go, and going to stop right there. Now you could have divided it up between the 2, but yellow says, I don't want blue to have any fun and be able to join any of my dives. So we're going to flip that over. Now yellow has to choose where they want to try to put their boat on any one of these dive sites. So this one here will defend you against a black hazard. This one here means that gold, instead of worth 2, would be worth 5. And this one here says red. If you pull out a red gem, instead of it being worth 4, it would be worth 10. Let's be pigs. Let's go for that 10. Okay, so now we're going to go back over to blue. Let's see. Blue says, let's see, they only got 2 cards down there. They are going to spend $1, $1, and they're going to grab this one here, which will protect you against an oxygen hazard. So let's slide our cards down. Flip over a new one. Okay, you got to look out for this. Whenever a card flips up and it has this little icon down here, that means you immediately take that colored gem and you put it into the bag. So we're going to immediately take this, put it into the bag, boop, and now that treasure will be available for players to possibly pull from the bag. So let's see. Yellow has $2. Yellow is going to play both of them, and it's going to get this oxygen hazard. to be able to defend against it. So let's slide this down. Okay, this one says add a silver to the bag. We had already had one of those pop up, so that is the second one that popped up. So the blue player is going to perform a rest action, which means they get to take their cards, shuffle them from their discard, then draw 3. They only have 3 that are down there, so they're just going to draw all 3 and put into their hand, okay? Let's head back over to the yellow player. Yellow player has no cards in their hand, but technically they could use this, if they wanted to, as a dollar to be able to get this one. And they say, why not? Let's spin that. Let's get that card, and that would go directly into their hand. These will slide down. And let's go over to the blue. Now blue can do something because they finally have some cards to be able to do stuff with, but they also know that they need to get more cards in their hand. So they're going to spin this one. It's going to be worth $2, and they want to grab this card right here, which means if the purple one is drawn out and this card is in your hand, you can play it, then it'll be worth 5 victory points. So let's go back over to yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. You have one card. Let's slide these down first before we do anything else. And we just did put another purple in there, which certainly benefits blue. Yellow is going to rest, so shuffle your cards and draw 3. All right, these 3 stay there. You have to do another rest action if you want to get those now. Okay, so that flips back over, sorry. All right, so blue is feeling pretty good and wants to move. So they're going to use this card here to move 2 spaces, and they're going to move both of their pieces over to here, just like that. All right, let's go back over to this yellow player, and he's just going to draw. He's going to rest and get all 3 of his cards that were still face down. Let's go back over to blue. Blue now is going to perform a dive right here. Yellow now has the ability to be able to join. Yellow says, why not? Let's do this. So boom, a dive is about to happen again. So first thing we do is we go to the back. We're going to pull 2 out because Troubled Waters tells us to pull 2. And we did get a red and we got a gold. So this red now is going to be worth 10 for him. Oh, I'm sorry, and a silver, which is going to be worth 3. So that was an excellent pull for blue. All right, so blue now looks at their cards. There's nothing that they can play because this one requires a purple. This one requires 2 gold. This one requires 2 silver to be able to play. And the other one is an oxygen hazard. So let's look at yellow. Yellow says that would require 4 silver to be pulled, 2 silver, 1 gold. There is no gold, and that's a movement card. So yellow cannot play any either. So blue now has the option of continuing or stopping. Blue would like to try to get that purple out, so he's going to continue. All right, so now we have another silver, but we have our first negative hazard. And keep in mind, if we pull out another black one, and if blue cannot defend, blue will end the dive and will lose the ability to score any of the treasures. So you got to be real careful when you do this. So now blue looks at their cards. They do have the ability to play this one because there are 2 silver out, so they play that down just like that. Now we go over to the yellow player, and they're going to do the same thing. And they see if there's anything. There's only, there we go. They can play this one down, and that is it. So now blue has to decide, are they going to continue this dive and press their luck and possibly lose out on these points, or are they going to call it? Blue is going to call it, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because both of these boats are on corners that are going to score them a lot of points by collecting these gems. So this is going to be worth 10, and these are worth 3 apiece. That's too much to pass up on. So blue calls it. So the first thing we do is we each score points based upon our cards. So each player is going to get 2 money. And now those cards are discarded. And now we will score the tile, which is worth 2. So blue is the leader. That's 2 more money. And now we are going to score based upon these, which means that the red is going to be worth 10 to blue. And then the silvers are going to be worth 3. So that's 16 for blue. And only 4, 5, 6 for yellow. And then this is removed just like that. All right, 2 down. Now, yellow player, it is your turn. So the yellow player says, I want to spend $2 and I want to get this card here to protect me from a negative monster hazard. Let's flip over another card and it will go back over to the blue player. The blue player says, I'm still cleaning up my mess. Hang on. Geesh. Okay, now it's my turn. So blue player looks at their cards. They say, I really don't have a lot here. I would like to try to get a little bit more. I'm going to perform a rest action. There are 3 cards face down. Just draw those back up, put them back in your hand. Now we need to try to get more cards in blue's hand so that they could try to score more points, because as this game continues, you can score a lot of points. I had one turn where I scored 70 points, believe it or not, from the amount of cards I played and the gems I collected. Alright, so yellow says, I have 2 cards in my discard. Let's try to add one more card before we decide to do this dive. They've only got $1 here, so they will... but that's only a movement card. Ooh, we should have thought about that. You know what? Screw it. Let's go on a dive. So yellow is going to perform a dive here. There are... Any player that would be 1 space away would be able to join, but in this case, there are no players 1 space away, so this will be all about you, girl. Talking about you, girl. So we're going to go right here, and yellow pulls 2 out. So that's a oxygen hazard, and then we got that purple one. So what we do now is we look at our cards, and we see, is there anything that we can add? No, there's no cards that can be played, unfortunately, to be able to get points from. So let's continue, because right now the only points they're getting is from that tile itself. So we pull 2 more out. Ooh, a negative right there, and then a... We need to pull out that red one because it'll be worth 10 to him. Okay, let's look at our cards again. That's just a monster. That's for an oxygen. That would require 4 silver out. That requires 2 gold. None of these are good. So should we press our luck? Why not? Let's do it. So, okay, so we did pull out a gold, and then we also pulled out another monster hazard. So first thing we have to do is defend against that monster hazard, which we do have that. So we will discard that to show that we have defended it. And then that card now can be played because it only requires a single gold to be played down. Now they have to decide, do they want to continue or do they want to press their luck? He says, I'm good, no more. I don't want to lose out on the, basically it's just 3 points, but there's no sense on that. So, you know what? One more time, baby. Okay, one more time. Let's do this. All right, and oh, not good at all. So because we did pull out another monster gem, what happens is I do not have the capacity to defend against it. So the dive is over. All these gems go back because you do not collect anything from the gems now, unfortunately. But you will still collect from your cards and also for being the leader of the dive. So that's still 3, 4, 5 points that he'll collect. So the reason I went ahead and did that was because it wasn't really that big of a difference between continuing the dive versus ending it. But if he could have hit on that red one, it would have been a humongous, a humongous amount of points. And sometimes you gamble, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's the way it works. That's why it's called gambling. All right, so blue player is going to use... he needs to get more cards in his hand is what he needs to do. So he's going to play this one right here, spend 2 to be able to get this card here. So that means if a purple one is drawn out, it'll be worth 5, and he's already got one of those. So now this is going to be more valuable because they do stack. So let's slide these down. Let's get a new card out. Now you're asking me, hey man, when's the game end? I know, great question, right? There will be 4 tiles that are going to be placed onto this corner right here. They are out here in the red buoy area. We don't know where they're at, but when those 4 are pulled, then that will end the game. So yellow is going to also try to purchase cards, but they do not have any money. So therefore they are going to rest. They're going to shuffle their discard pile. They need cards with money on them. Draw 3. Now let's go back over to the blue player. Blue player, turn your card over to show it's discarded. Okay, done. Now he is going to, he is going to move. So he's going to spend 2 points of movement, and he is going to go 1 and 2 up to there. All right, now yellow, let's see, is going to, there's only 1 card there, is going to spend 2 to be able to purchase this card right here, which means if 4 silver are pulled, that it'll be worth 6 points. So let's slide these down. Let's go back over to blue. Blue is going to perform a dive on this spot right here. Actually, you know what? They're going to wait. And they are first going to... They will spend... I didn't really want to do this. Let's just spend 1. Yeah, let's just spend 1, and we're going to pick up this movement card right here. It's all movement, but I don't want to spend more than that, because if I rest on the next turn, then I can have... Oh, so that's going to add a green gem to the bag. That is worth 8 victory points. Whew, that is a big one. All right, so come back to yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. So yellow will rest and pull both of their cards back into their hand. And now we're going to go back over to blue, who is going to perform a rest action as well and get their 3 cards from their discard into their hand. Go back over to yellow. Now yellow, you can do some stuff. Is going to play this card here to be able to move. And that will move times 3. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So let's flip that over. And then we just pick a square. I'm going to pick the best one, which in my opinion is that red one, because it gives you 10 points if you could pull that red gem. It's just too hard to want to pass. So now let's go over to blue. Blue is going to perform a dive right here. So let's get it started. Let's put our dive marker on there to show. And let's pull some gems. So we'll pull 2 out. We do have a hazard with a monster and then 1 silver. Now we know that there's no card that's going to allow you to play with just 1 silver. So let's continue. Oh, 3 total silvers down. All right, so let's see what we got for 3 silvers. So we could play this one. That's as long as 2 silvers are down, you could play it. And we need 1 gold for that. Now let's go over to yellow, who should have the same thing right here. And then let's see if they have anything else. Now, if another silver comes out, they're going to be banking big time because they have 2 of those and they're both worth 6 points. So yellow's like, oh, keep pulling that silver, please. Yes. So, ooh, another monster hazard and another silver. Oh my gosh. So we look here. He has to play a card. Oh, I thought that he had. Oh boy. I thought for some reason blue had a card to avoid a hazard from a monster. He does not. So that does mean that the dive is going to end. However, so because he cannot defend against that monster. Now we go over to here. Now he can play this one. And, I'm sorry, first he has to defend against the monster, which he can. And then he can also play this one. So yellow just scored huge on the dive that blue triggered. That is, oh, incredible. So here's what happens. First score points based upon your cards. So blue is going to get 2. Yellow is going to get 6, 12, 13, 14. So let's do, all right, I'm going to put 1 back. And then I'm going to take this 5, put all those back, grab a 20 and throw it in there. Okay. All right. Now the cards are gone. And now blue was the leader, so he will get 3 points. He does not get any points from the gems, but the gems are only going to give you 4 points because they're all just worth 1, so no big deal there. He didn't lose out on a ton. And the spaces he was on, that was gold and that was the red, so those didn't get pulled anyways, so just 4 points to yellow. Let's get that out. So let's put a 5er in there. But yellow still made out way better on that dive than blue did. Okay, so let's go back over to the yellow player. The yellow player says, whew, now you used up all my cards on that dive. Regardless, I am going to spend 3 total dollars, 2, 3, and I want to get this green card here into my hand because there is a green one in there, and sometimes if you can get it, that is awesome, trust me. All right, so blue is like, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm discarding this. I'm going to get this card here, which will help me protect against a monster hazard. Let's slide the cards down, and we'll go over to the yellow player. Slide these down. Okay, now the yellow player is saying, well, I'm going to have to rest because I have no money. So let's rest. Let's shuffle these cards. Technically, he could go on a dive if he wanted, but let's be a little patient. So 1, 2, and 3. Now let's go back over to the blue player. The blue player is going to spend $2 and is going to grab this oxygen right here. Let's slide that down. Okay, let's go back over to the yellow player. Yellow is going to rest. Just draw your top 3. Let's go back over to here. And he has 3 in his discard. He's going to just rest and grab all 3 of those. Let's go back over to yellow. Yellow is going to perform a dive right there. So yellow is going to perform a dive here. So let's grab our bag and let's get to work. So draw out 2, 2 silvers. Now we should have a card, hopefully, if we drew it. Yep, right there. That one, as long as 2 silvers are out, you can play it. So plays that one down. Shuffle the bag, draw 2 more out. Oh, no way, 2 more silvers. We got to get that red one, though. He really wants that red, but this works out well because now he can play down that one and that one, just like he did the last time against blue up here. Shuffle this, draw out 2 more. Uh-oh, a blue hazard, and then another silver. So we need to decide if we want to continue. Let's look at our cards. We do have 1 oxygen. We have 1 more oxygen, and we do have the ability to fight a monster. So let's keep going. All right, draw 2. Another silver, and then a monster. Okay, there are other colors in there, I swear. So gonna have to just keep going. Let's go 1 more time at least. I mean, we're only gonna miss out on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points if we fail. Okay, that is an oxygen and a monster hazard. So we do have to play both of our cards to be able to avoid that if we want to be able to collect the gems. We have our oxygen, we have our monster. Now the problem with this is the best we're going to do is get possibly 10 more points, but given the fact we would miss out on those, I don't think it's worth pressing anymore, so let's just stop there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get points from our card, which is 6, 12, 13, 14. So let's get our 14 points. We're going to put a 1er back and a 5 and just grab a 20. Okay, and then we get 3 for being the leader, and then we're on the red, so unfortunately if we were on the silver, we would have gotten 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 points. But in this case, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 instead. Doesn't that suck? That's how it works. It's a gamble. You just don't know what under dim waters. Okay, so let's put this here out of the game. Yellow stays there. Let's discard them cards. Now we go over to the blue player. Blue has a handful of cards to be able to do stuff with. And he is going to move. So he's going to play this one here, combined with this one. Actually, you know what? Combined with this one, and move 5 total spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then both of them are just going to stay here. And then that way their yellow will not be able to join this time. So let's see, we have 1 oxygen, 1 monster, 1 oxygen. Let's do the other monster, or yeah, just like that. Okay. So now let's go over to yellow. Yellow's like, ooh, should I try to move over there and try to join him? He could. Let's move 2. And we're going to move up to here and to here. Okay. Wow, we have not found any of those cards that could trigger the end of the game. They're all, it's these 4 of these 5 here are the end game trigger ones. None of the other ones yet have popped up. Okay, let's go over to blue again, and he's going to perform a dive right here. So let's get this party started. Let's put our marker there to show, and draw 2. Okay, we have an oxygen and a monster right off the bat. Let's draw 2 more. We got 2 gold out. Let's see what our cards are. That one right there. Boop. Okay. Oops, sorry about that. Let's get that a little straightened out. Okay, let's draw out 2 more. All right, we got another gold and a silver. We need that red one, baby. Let's keep going. 2 more silver. So that's 3 silver. So let's see. There we go. We can play that one. Okay, we need that. We need that purple one, man. That's all we need, and then we can end this. Okay, let's draw 2 more. Okay, another oxygen hazard and then another silver. So we are on the monster spot there, so we need an oxygen, which we have 2 of. So let's discard that right there to prevent us from having an oxygen issue. And let's go 1 more turn. Oh God, 2 monsters in a row. So we can spin that to avoid the first. And then we got that. So that would be 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That'd be 10 money to lose, which is exactly what we'd get from the cards. So I think we're probably just going to have to call it, unfortunately. So let's end the dive now. So we got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Total money. 10, 15, and 16. Let's go ahead and put these back into the bag. That will end the dive. And we will go back over to the yellow player. Let's get the cards discarded. Get these out of here. Move the tile. And now we go back over to the yellow player. All right, so yellow is going to perform, let's see, he's going to spend 2 money, actually just 1 money. He's going to add this oxygen card to his hand, slide these down. Now it goes, oh, we need to add a red one to the bag. Okay, now we go over to the blue player. The blue player is like bummed because he never, ever is going to get what he wants. So he's going to spend 2 money to be able to grab this other monster card right here to prevent monster from getting him. So let's slide these down. Okay, let's go back over to the yellow player. Yellow player has 2 money. Going to spin that to be able to get Otto. Put him in his hand. Let's go back over to the yellow player, or the blue player. And blue player is going to rest. So, shuffle your discard. Get that back in your hand. 1, 2, 3. Let's go back over to the yellow player. Is going to rest as well. Okay. I'm going to have blue player rest again. And I'm going to have yellow player rest again. Blue player now. Let's see if you got your movement cards. Got 5 total movement, so let's do that. And let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, a lot of options. This is one of the end game trigger tiles because it's got the little icon there. See how the points come out? None of the other ones have that. So you know that that's going to go down here onto the board. So let's see. It's got 1 icon of everything. That's awesome. So let's put on a red and let's go on a silver. Seems how silver seems to be popular. Okay. Now you could look at these if you like. There's this one here that could possibly score you points. So I think he'll probably do a rest before he decides to do another dive. So let's draw our cards up. We have 3 in our hand. Boom. We're just going to rest again with yellow because he had 3 exact. Blue's going to rest, get his whole deck in his hand. Now yellow is going to perform a dive up here. Boop, just like that. All right, so let's grab the bag. Let's get started. So let's draw 2 out. Ooh, an oxygen and a silver. We know that there's nothing that you could play for just 1 silver, so let's go again. Oh, and we hit it. That's exactly what we wanted to happen because I believe yellow is the one who bought that card. So there it is, the green one. So that's worth 8 points, and there are 2 silver out. So let's put that down as well. It'd be nice if we can get some gold out. So, or more silver or a red. Hey, we're going to score points for everything on this one. So let's go ahead and pull out a couple more. Another oxygen hazard and another silver, so we need to have an oxygen card, which I know we do have. So we'll play that. Do we have another oxygen? Yes, we do. And we have 1 monster, so let's do it one more time. Okay, that's what we needed right there. That's perfect, and I think that'll probably end the dive for us this time because we are going to be able to play this one right here because there is a gold out. This one here because there are 4 silver. This one here because there's 4 silver as well. And that'll be it. So we're going to end the dive. So that's 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 24 money being the leader. 24, 25, 26, 27. This is worth 5 because he's on the gold spot. So 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 33, 34, 35, 36. So 36 total points for that dive for yellow. Nicely done, yellow, man. Well done. So let's get your 36 money and put it in your little treasure chest. Okay, so now blue is going to perform, oh, and then let's get rid of that tile. Blue is going to perform a dive right here. So nobody else can join. So let's draw out 2. We got a monster and a silver. We know we can't do anything for 1 silver, and the first monster is null. It's just to warn you it's coming up next time, which is right now. So now we have 2 monsters. So now we do have to play a monster card, which is right here. And now we can also play our silver card. The times 2 silver for 2 points. Okay, let's keep. Do we have another monster card to be able to defend with? Oh, yes, okay, all right, I feel safe. All right, so let's go ahead and draw 2 more out. And we have a silver and a blue. So let's put that there. There should not be anything with 3 silvers. So if we want to, let's keep going. And let's draw, oops, get my fingers on it. We have a green and a gold. Okay, so if we have our ×1 gold, we do. And then we don't have a green card, unfortunately. So, gold and silver. Well, silver is worth 3 apiece. Gold's only still 2. Do we have one more monster? We do. Let's go. Well, and the chances of drawing out both of those black ones are slim to none. Oh, that might be exactly what we needed. Let's see. So first, let's put the ox. You have to defend against the hazard first, which we can. And then, is that the color? I believe it is. So we have both of those. We can play them down now, finally. And that will be it. So we are going to end the dive now. So if we would have pulled out the red one, it would have been worth 10. That's okay. But we did get 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So plus the 5. So that's 19. These are worth 3 apiece. So 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, 28. This is worth 2, 30. So 30 total points for blue. Okay. We'll throw that green one across the board. Okay. Let's pull this off. And this goes right there, just like that. Okay. Part of the little display. So these get discarded. And let's go back over to the yellow player. Yellow player is going to move a total of 5. And he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Flip that over. Oh no! Okay, so this one's another end game one. And if you notice, there's no corners. You have no corners, but if you're the lead diver, you get 7 coins. So that's still good. It's just that there's no like extra bonuses anywhere on that tile. All right, so we are going to move 5. Well, we'll just move 3 for the blue, and we're going to put them both right up here. There, that's 2 end triggers. So we're going to go there, and let's go on the gold. Okay. So let's go over to yellow. Yellow's looking at the cards. They can defend 2. Let's just rest, get more cards in our hand. This blue somehow flew out of the bag, and I don't know how long it's been there. I apologize. 1, 2, 3. Let's go back over to blue. Blue is going to rest as well. Try to get as many points as you can. 1, 2, and 3. Yellow is going to rest. 1, 2, 3. I know this is the boringest part of the game, to be honest. And then 1, 2, 3. Back over to yellow, and yellow says they first want to try to make a purchase. So they're going to spend $2 from this card here to purchase this one here, which means that as long as 8 gems are pulled, you can play this card. Let's go back over to blue. Blue has, oops, slide them down. Another green is going to be added to the bag. Blue says, I wouldn't mind a piece of that. So they're going to play 1, 2, 3 to be able to get that card, that green one, added to their hand before they perform a dive. All right, so let's go back over to yellow. Yellow's going to rest, grab those last 3 cards. Blue is going to do the same thing, grab their last 3 cards. Now we're going to perform a couple of dives. So let's go over here to yellow first. There's no added benefits to anything for yellow. This could be bad. So draw 2. We hit on the red one, so that is only worth 4. That's the first time we drew it, and of course, nobody's on that spot. That's how it works, man. So let's draw a couple more. Oh, 2 oxygen. Boy, this is bad. I mean, that's a lot to be drawn right off the bat. So we will have to defend against 1. So let's play Zoya down to defend. We will draw a couple of more. Oops, damn it. We got the green one and a silver. So, did he have a green one? Yeah, boom. Okay, so let's play our green one. There's nothing for just one silver. We do have another oxygen tank, right? Yes, we do. Okay. Okay, draw 2 more. Oh no! All 4 oxygen are out. We only have 1 oxygen tank to be able to defend. Unfortunately, that does mean that the dive is over. So they will still get the points for their card and for the tile because they were the lead diver. So truthfully, the only thing they lost was just 4 points. Well, actually 5. 5 total points. Not a killer. So 15 total points. Let's grab that. Let's take that tile off. Place it right there. Well, this one goes up here, I think, like that. There we go. Okay. Let's put the gems back in the bag. Let's throw that over there. Let's discard these cards. This game's about over. All right, blue player, gonna perform a dive. Let's do it. Huh. Isn't that exactly what I did on the other one? Oh, we're gonna go right here, sorry. Oh, so does he have the red ones? I think he does. Nope. Nope, can't play anything yet. Another blue and another silver, so gotta play an oxygen tank. There we go. And we have another oxygen tank, a monster, another monster. So we have another oxygen tank and 2 more monsters. Oh, and then we should have our 2 silver right there. And that's it. So, of course, if we didn't go on the 10 there for that, and then I drew it out. That's the way this game, it just kind of bites you, bites you, bites you. Oh, is that the good one? Is that for him or was that for yellow? I think it was for yellow that had the double. Yep. Unfortunately, gonna keep going. Okay, another oxygen, but we did draw our green, so we need to decide, do we want to continue? And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 total gems out. Okay, no benefits here at all. Let's call it so we don't lose out on these silvers because they are worth 3 apiece. So first off, we're going to get 10 plus there, so 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 total points. So 31 and 2. And that will end this one here. This goes there. This comes back. All right. Discard these. Didn't lose a lot of cards either. So let's go back over to the yellow player. Yellow didn't lose a lot of cards either, now I think about it. So we should be able to just sail real fast. So let's move 2. Put them both here. Oh, okay. So these are cool. You can either choose, you could place it on any one, and then it's a double hazard. So you can either avoid a monster or an oxygen hazard. So kind of cool. So they'll do just like that. Blue's turn. And he will just play that as well. And that is the last one right there, by the way. He's going to go here. And he's going to see if possibly... Okay, so we'll go there and there. All right. So now yellow is up. Yellow's going to perform a dive, but not before we get the last ones in. Oh, and yellow's going to actually end it. You know what? Blue should have been smarter and did that instead and should have joined. He knew. I apologize for that. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because blue would have known that as soon as that pops up, that's going to end the game. So he wouldn't have even a shot to be able to do that because he was first player. So he's just going to join in on this dive. So anyways, yellow is the dive leader. And we're going here. This will end the game. So draw 2. All right. So, oops. Let me get all these in here first before we do this. Now, let's try that again. Draw 2. There we go. We got two silver. And I believe, yeah, he already played his 2 silvers, so that ain't going to do him any good. Let's see if he's... There we go, 2 silver. Okay. Draw 2 more. A water hazard and a gold. Play that. Okay, let's see what we got over here. Play that. Okay, back over here. A water hazard and a monster. So that's our second water hazard. So he will play his card, just like that. And then don't forget, they're all able to still defend. This actually should be a pretty deep dive. So he will have to play one from here to be able to defend against the water hazard. Okay, draw two more. Another water hazard and a green. So he's going to have to play from here again to defend against that water hazard. And I don't think blue will have to defend against the water hazard as well with that. The green, I think he's the one with the green. And there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which means he could play this as well, because as long as 8 gems have been pulled, that's worth 6. Oh, must have had the green in the discard. All right, so now you have to decide. Do you want to continue? Yellow, let me see. You have no oxygen. I know that. You have one. Let me see. So you'd have to pull 2 silver out to actually be of any benefit. I don't see any reason. Let's just end the dive right now. So that's going to give 2 points to blue, and then 2, 4, 10 total points for yellow. Yellow is the leader, which is an additional 4. Put a 5 in there, take a 1. And the gems themselves, it's going to be a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 points apiece. And that makes the little picture here, and that ends the game. All right, simple. Add up your points, see who has the most, that player wins. So we've got 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 95, 100, 105, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 114 versus 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 123. There you go. 114, 123. That is game. Okay, so there are a lot of other scenarios. Let's take a look at those real quick. This is the one we were playing with. Now this stays for the whole game, but this is Troubled Waters. You draw 2 gems from the bag. A player who reveals a sunken city tile must immediately start a dive on it. It is a free action. However, all players may rush in from up to 2 spaces away instead of the usual 1. So that means basically whenever we flip over one of these tiles, players can immediately just rush in onto it. So it's pretty awesome. No player may rush into dives on sunken city tiles, so that means they can't come in from other locations. All cards played for VP grant 4 more points than what is listed on them. Pretty awesome. That's a little wordy. And then there's just some others, and I'll leave those for you to discover. Okay, but there are quite a few that you can play with. They just changed the rules up just slightly. You know, there are still a lot of other characters. I don't think there's anybody we really didn't see. Just gives you 5 for the purple. As long as 8 are out, as long as 6 are out, as long as 2 gold. So they kind of start repeating themselves. If you notice, there's a little pile of gems that are up here in the corner. So these are all just added in when them cards are pulled out. And even if you were to, if the card flips over and if it adds the gem to the bag, and even if the card was wiped out and discarded, if you paid the 4 cost, the gem would still stay in the bag. That is pretty much it, guys. There's really nothing more. It does play 5-player, which is pretty cool. Components, art, everything looks really beautiful. And as you can tell, the game can play pretty fast. I played yesterday with Amanda. Her and I, our final score, I mean, that's one thing about the game. You could spend the entire game doing nothing but just grabbing as many cards as you want and purchasing tons of those, which I don't necessarily discourage you from doing, especially with 5 players. Them cards are going to be super competitive to get your hands on. So don't be surprised if that deck of cards doesn't go really fast, and if you don't get enough cards to score you points from those, you're going to be up the creek. So get maybe one extra movement card, get some cards to help defend against the oxygen or the creatures, and then from there you just need a bunch of cards that are going to give you these points, because whenever you go on a dive, those cards are what going to pay off for you. You can see if you rush out and you hurry up and you do the dives away from your opponents, that it kind of forces them to have to follow suit to a degree. Now they can try to stay over here and just kind of piddle around and hope that they score a lot of points. Yellow, in my opinion, did both. They rushed over here to the other side of the board, and they still got a decent amount of cards to be able to, be able to gain points from. The game is really somewhat about, the luck of drawing from the bag, but also just being prepared for what's in front of you. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you can defend against the calamities if you're prepared, but if you go in unprepared, don't be surprised if you walk away with just a couple of points or no points at all. But that really is your own fault. That's what I do like about the game. There is a good balance of the luck. The more prepared you are, the greater chances of success. The least prepared you are, the greater chances you're going to be like frustrated and be like, oh crap, I never pull out what I want to pull, blah, 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 blah. Artwork beautiful, board looks beautiful, everything about this is a lot of fun. I don't necessarily recommend this for 2-player because it can become a game of just buy the cards. Even though with 5 players it can still become excuse me, even with 5 players it can still become that. The cards are more spread out around the table, and you're not going to find one person that has like a handful of cards that are just going to be about bam, 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 and just playing down a ton. The rest action can become a bit redundant because you only get 3 cards drawn back into your hand, and it does seem like several times you're going to do nothing but just be like rest, rest, rest. But that goes back into the how prepared do you want to be for a dive. I personally want to be very prepared for a dive because I want to score as many points as I possibly can. Really like this one. This is a lot of fun. Do I recommend it? Yeah, I do. But you know what? Base that upon your own opinion of what you just saw. I think it's a lot of fun. It gives me kind of that feel of like Pirates Cove and some of them other games that I've really enjoyed in the past. And it's just kind of like changed it up a little bit with a slight pressure luck element, and gives me just enough here to where I can sit down and say, yeah, I do enjoy this. I would recommend playing it. I would like to, play with my friends and bust it out on a game night. So there you go. That is Deep Blue. Oops, Deep Blue. I want to thank Asmodee for sending this my way. Very beautiful game. It has just been released, and it's one that, if you enjoyed what you saw, check it out. So before we do end this, do me a favor, hit that like button. It sure does encourage me whenever I see some likes on the page. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, please. I really do like seeing new subscribers so that I can share this hobby with new people that possibly have not, known this channel in the past. So hit like, hit subscribe, and put a smile on my face. As usual, I appreciate you watching. Bye-bye.